Trill Pill Podcast. I know I ain't recorded in a minute, but look, man. Been trying to branch my shit out a little bit. Been trying to try some different things, man. And I think it's, time to try to balance both. Seeing how it is. Trying to do some different shit, man. You know how it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot of bullshit that's going on. You know what I'm saying? I enabled a lot of bullshit to happen to a certain extent. Regardless of what I try to come in and do, I still got my whole little, main thing, but sometimes oil and water just don't mix. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, I feel like a lot of times me going into to YouTube, at least with this, first sector or whatever, it's oil and water to me. Sometimes, you meet some pretty, dope people, But sometimes, man, that shit just make you look at certain people like, damn. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of unnecessary shit that's going on that I will, I'm not gonna go into here because half of y'all don't even fucking care about that shit. I barely even care about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But, you gotta be careful with who you associate yourself with, man. You might get fucking logged in with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't regret it because I met some very dope people. You know what I'm saying? Met some very dope people, some very cool ass people, man. And I'm gonna rock with them. You know what I'm saying? That is what that is. You did. So, in the meantime, topic of this episode is running plays. You know what I'm saying? Niggas running so many plays, they ran them on their motherfucking self out shit, man. You know what I'm saying? More specifically, psychological manipulation. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, let this shit rock out for a minute. Cause this beat is dope as fuck. So y'all know, man. Shit, man. Nigga been going through a little bit, whatever. Nigga got to take some Sudafeds and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all good though, man. I'm still gonna pump this shit out real quick, man. I ain't recording in a minute, so I forgot how good this shit feel. To just record stress-free, no pressure, talk your shit. I really get a chance to zone out. You know what I'm saying? The shit show. Psychological manipulation is a type of social influence that aims to change the behavior or perception of others through indirect, deceptive, or underhanded tactics. By advancing the interests of the manipulator, often at another's expense, such methods could be considered exploitative. Alright? Exploitative. Where the fuck this shit is? My T and A, but we still know that shit. Anyway, and devious. Social influence is not necessarily negative. For example, people such as friends and family and doctors can try to persuade or change clearly unhelpful, habits and behaviors. Social influences generally perceived to be harmless, um, especially when it respects the right of the influence to accept it or reject it, and it's not unduly coercive. And depending on the context and the motivations and social influence, it may constitute underhanded manipulation. George K. Simon is an author, is a psychology author. In '96, he kind of created a bracket for shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Successful psychological manipulation primarily involves concealing aggressive intentions and behaviors, being affable, knowing the psychological vulnerabilities of the victim to determine which tactics are likely to be the most effective, having a sufficient level of ruthlessness to have no qualms about causing harm to the victim if necessary. Also, Harriet B. Breaker in 2004 identified the following ways that manipulators control their victims: positive reinforcement, which includes praise, superficial charm, superficial sympathy, excessive apologizing, money, approval, gifts, attention, facial expressions, such as a forced laugh or smile, and public recognition. Negative reinforcement involves removing one from a negative situation as a reward. Intermittent or partial reinforcement, partial or intermittent negative reinforcement can create an effective climate of fear and doubt. Partial or intermittent positive reinforcement can encourage the victim to persist. Punishment includes nagging, yelling, the silent treatment, intimidation, threats, swearing, emotional blackmail, guilt trips, sulking, crying, and playing the motherfucking victim. It also includes punishment. It also includes traumatic one-trial learning, using verbal abuse, explosive anger, or intimidating behavior to establish dominance or superiority. Even when incident of such behavior can condition or train victims to avoid upsetting, confronting, or contradicting the manipulator. Also, George K. Simon identifies the following manipulative techniques: lying by commission. It's hard to tell if somebody's lying at the time they do it, although often the truth may be apparent later when it's too late. One way to minimize the chances of being lied to is to understand that some personality types, particularly psychopaths, are experts at lying and cheating, doing it frequently and often in subtle ways. Also, they get their shit off by lying by omission. This is a subtle form of lying by withholding a significant amount of the truth. This technique is also used in propaganda. They also use denial. The manipulator refuses to admit that they have done something wrong. This one right here is a big one. This next one, rationalization. Rationalization is basically an excuse made by the manipulator for inappropriate behavior. Rationalization is closely related to spin. So basically, it's like somebody do some outrageous shit. You know what I'm saying? Where they get disrespectful, or where they do some hoe ass shit, or anything like that, and they make an excuse for it. Well, I did this shit because such and such. Excuse me. Like they give them the excuse to, you know what I'm saying? Go out. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes You see this like if you know somebody that's in the streets and do some wild shit. And first thing on, well, I did it because I felt like so and so. You know what I'm saying? Just tango web. You know what I'm saying? Type of shit. They also try to minimize, rationalize, and minimize. You know, those two go hand in hand. Not only do they try to make an excuse for the bullshit, but they also try to minimize their behavior as not as harmful as, or irresponsible as someone else was suggesting. And they also have a selective inattention or selective attention. A manipulator refuses to pay attention to anything that may distract them from their agenda, a diversion. A manipulator not giving a straight answer to a straight question, and instead trying to steer the conversation to another topic. Evasion. You try to get the fuck out the way. You know what I'm saying? Giving irrelevant, rambling, or vague responses. And covert intimidation. The manipulator putting the victim onto the defensive by using veiled, subtle, indirect, or implied threats. Guilt tripping, shaming, vilifying the victim. Now, I'm going to skip over guilt tripping, shaming because, we all know what, pretty much know what, you know what I'm saying? But vilifying the victim is a tactic, is a powerful means of putting the victim on the defensive while simultaneously masking the aggressive intent of the manipulator. While the manipulator falsely accuses the victim of being an abuser, in response, when the victim stands up for or defends themselves or their position. I'll say that shit again. No, now I'll say it again. You just have to roll that shit back. Look, it's kind of like they're trying to flip the script. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's trying to push the blame on the abuser like the abuser did something wrong, when in reality, it's the manipulator the whole fucking time. They try their best to for instance, they may have let me see. There's so many things. Excuse me. There's so many things that it's kind of like damn, so many examples of this shit. Hold up. It's kind of like someone committing a crime. Yeah. I'm going to use this example, right? Someone kills someone's brother or someone's family member. One of the members of the family that was killed retaliates. So it gets to this point where it's a lot of finger pointing back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And what ends up being is the victim, the victim gets vilified, in that type of situation, of which can get kind of sticky, because at first it can be like, well, he killed the other, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. That's one example. You know what I'm saying? Another example is with women and, abortions. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when women can get raped and get pregnant by the person who raped them, and then they choose to abort that baby by the person that raped them. Those women, 9 times out of 10, get vilified. When in all reality, She didn't ask to get pregnant. She was taken in. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So there's a couple of examples. I can go a lot more, but I'm not trying to be out fucking day. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get this shit off because I've run into a lot of plays, a lot of we've been at the goddamn you know what I'm saying, football games, type of games before in my life, but sometimes people run plays in real life for real people, you know what I'm saying, on these social platforms, and the shit getting out of control. And I'm not gonna lie, I sit here and wonder what are people getting out of it, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Sometimes the manipulator, portrays themselves as a victim of circumstance or of someone else's behavior in order to gain pity, sympathy, or evoke compassion, and thereby get something from another. Caring and conscious people often cannot stand to see anyone suffering, and manipulator often finds it easy to play on sympathy to get the cooperation that they need, And they also play the servant role, which is cloaking a self-serving agenda in the guise of a service to a more noble cause. Some manipulators use seduction. You see with a lot of men who get set up because they're out there trying to buy a piece of pussy, shit like that. Seduction. They getting plays ran on them, you know what I'm saying? The manipulator uses charm, praise, flattery, or overtly supporting others in order to get them to lower their defenses and give them their trust and loyalty to the manipulator. They will also offer help with the intent to gain trust and access to an unsuspecting victim they have charmed. It's kind of like, think about if you ever seen this movie, it was released earlier this year called Judas and the Black Messiah. It was a story about Fred Hampton and her ass William O'Neal. William O'Neal was got jammed up. They gave him an opportunity to go and pretty much take down the Black Panthers in Chicago. That story is fucked up, but seduction. He got in. He got into the Black Panther Party. He manipulated everybody, got in close. At the same time he getting in close, he's giving all the intel to the feds. Another way people work is projecting the blame, manipulating scapegoats, and often subtle and hard to detect ways. Often the manipulator will project their own thinking onto the victim, making the victim look like they have done something wrong. And they also claim that the victim is Sudafed in this bitch. That the victim is the one who's at fault, vilifying the victim. You know what I'm saying? Or for believing lies that they were conned into believing, as if the victim forced the manipulator to be deceitful. All blame, except for the part that is used by the manipulator to accept false guilt. All this is done in order to make the victim feel guilty about making healthy choices, correct thinking, and good behaviors. It's also frequently used as a means of psychological and emotional manipulation and control. The manipulators lie about lying, only to remanipulate the original, less believable story into a more acceptable truth that the victim will believe. Projecting lies as being the truth is another common method of control and manipulation. And we also falsely accuse the victim of deserving to be treated that way. They often claim that the victim is crazy or abusive, especially when there's the evidence against the manipulator, feigning the innocence. person try to suggest that, you know what I'm saying? You got all type of hoe ass shit. You know what I'm saying? You got niggas out here people out here who be trying to, you know what I'm saying, probably run a little play on you and try to act like it was done unintentional and they didn't do something that they were accused of, you know what I'm saying? You know, feigning confusion, you know what I'm saying? Playing dumb and pretending that they don't know what the victim is talking about or is confused about an important issue brought to their attention. You know what I'm saying? They try to throw a lot of crazy confusion out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? A lot of crazy confusion out this bitch. In order for the victim to adopt their own accuracy of perception, often point out key elements that the manipulator intentionally included in case there is room for doubt. You know, sometimes they have cohorts, you know what I'm saying? Cohorts to help back up their story. So now it's a group of lying ass niggas trying to manipulate something. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make the lie a truth. Or acting like, you know, you got niggas who be acting like they cool with you. Acting like they fuck with you. Acting like they support your shit. And when in all reality, they really don't. But along the way, they just there on some William O'Neill shit, which is niggas trying to get information to take it back to whoever the fuck you're trying to take it back from. That's how niggas get lined up. That's how niggas get killed. That's how niggas, you know what I'm saying, just getting jammed up in a bunch of shit. That's how people end up in sticky situations. You know what I'm saying? And like I said earlier, sometimes, you know, it's hard to tell a lie at the jump of it. You know, sometimes you might catch it, but sometimes you don't really catch the lie until you know what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's coming from left field. You know? That's why you have to really be able to assert yourself and think about the fuck's going on, you know, and watch who you be around and watch who you say things to. You know what I'm saying? And those type of things make people cold and not speak to anybody, because the fact that somebody can, you know, they can act like your friend and really fuck with you when the whole time they're just there to log information on you, get you comfortable to where you say something. Then once you say something, or I guess do something, then they be like, bitch, I got you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Alright, you know, it's like, what do you do after that? After that person ran a play on you? You know? That, you know, even sometimes that play may have even burned some bridges with some people. You may have really been fucking with the people who ran a play on you. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, well, damn, I don't know who the fuck to trust. You know, you eat this a lot in relationships, whether, you know, friendships or intimate. You know what I'm saying? You eat that a lot in a lot of things. You know? Just gotta be careful, you know? I know that may not seem like a whole lot, but you do have to be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because once you get burned the first time, it kind of puts a, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you have to learn from it to keep from being manipulated, you know? Especially if you're a good person and you're compassionate and shit like that. There's people out here who don't give a fuck about nobody that's compassionate. People see kindness and take it for weakness and want to tear you down when you don't do what the fuck that they want you to do. Now they go on a campaign to try to tear you down and do all type of fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? When in our reality, they don't get no reward from it. Like even, they just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? They don't get no fucking reward for that shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't get no reward for that shit. Everybody loses, especially when it's done between two black people or two friends, regardless on, you know what I'm saying? Or two somebody that ever thought that was cool with somebody and they flipped on them. It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like that puts a certain callous over your heart that it's hard to come back from. You gotta do a lot of healing from that shit. You know? A lot of healing from that shit. A lot of it. You know? Sometimes they get that shit off by brandishing anger. You know? You got people who sometimes use anger to brandish sufficient emotional intensity and rage to shock the victim into submission. The manipulator, which is not actually angry, they just put on the act. They just want to get what they want, and they get angry when they get denied. See, control anger is often used as a tactic to avoid confrontation, a tactic to avoid telling the truth, or a tactic to further hide the intent. They're often threats used by a manipulator of going to the police or falsely reporting abuses that they intentionally contrive to scare or intimidate the victim into submission. You know, the blackmail and all the other threats of exposure or other forms of control, anger, and manipulation, especially when the victim refuses initial requests or suggestions by the manipulator. Anger is also used as a defense. You know what I'm saying? So the manipulator can avoid telling truths at inconvenient times or circumstances. And anger is often used as a tool or defense to ward off inquiries or suspicion. The victim becomes more focused on the anger instead of the manipulation tactic. Then try to use this shit right here, call it the bandwagon effect, which is, you know, the person who's running the plays and whatnot comforts the victim into submission by claiming, whether true or false, that many people have already done something, and the victim should as well. Such manipulation can be seen in peer pressure situations, often occurring in scenarios where the manipulator attempts to influence the victim into trying drugs, substances, smear campaigns, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people who are the victims, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it's naive. It gets hard to, you know, it's hard to accept the idea that some people are cunning and devious and ruthless. And, you know what I'm saying, overconsciousness, you know what I'm saying, the victim is too willing to give the manipulator the benefit of the doubt and see that, you know, and see their side of the things in which they blame the victim. Self-doubting, lacking in confidence and assertiveness, likely to go on the defensive too easily, over intellectualization. When the victim tries too hard to understand and believe the manipulator has some understandable reason to be hurtful. The emotional dependency, submissive or dependent personality. The more dependent someone is, the more vulnerable they are, of course. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why you have to be careful. You really have to take your time out and learn and observe. Sometimes people will tell you exactly who they are. You just gotta fucking listen. You gotta go beyond the smoke. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go beyond the smoke. You know. Now, sometimes people who are manipulative and try to, run plays on you and do a whole lot of sneaky and, whatever type of bullshit. The need to advance their own purposes. Sometimes, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes these are a few things that people who doing that fuck shit be motivated by. You know what I'm saying? So if you're ever looking for a few qualities, trying to find out who are the snakes in your garden, this is it right here. Sometimes they need to advance their own purposes and personal gain at virtually any cost to others. A strong need to attain feelings of power and superiority in relationships with others. It's kind of like a what the fuck is that shit? Tip of my tongue. Megalomaniac, I think. You know what I'm saying? Look that up. Megalomaniac. Anyway, they also have a want and need to feel in control. They also have a desire to gain a feeling of power over others in order to raise their perception of self-esteem, furtherance the cult dynamics in recruiting or retaining followers, boredom, or growing tired of one's surroundings, seeing manipulation as a game more than hurting others. For some people, you know what I'm saying, running plays and manipulating people, scamming people, finessing people is a sport. So like, they ain't really worried about, they don't really see it as hurting other people. They just see it as, oh, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just doing this, just doing my little move. I don't give a fuck. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Little shit like that, And once you get to that point, this shit gets dangerous because humans become, or just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm kind of gone off the rocker right now. But no, man. How can I put this? Niggas is sick. You got people out here who try to finesse everybody. Like right now, niggas is talking about a whole lot of finessing and shit like that. But they won't tell you a whole lot of niggas that they don't end up living. You know what I'm saying? That shit just not cool by any means. And it's not living life. Trying to scheme and scam everybody. You may enjoy it for a little bit, but not gonna last long. You're gonna end up running all them plays and end up running the play on your motherfucking self. There you go, trying to justify some bullshit. And you don't run so many plays, you don't do so much, fucked up shit that you don't even know what direction anything is coming from. And you end up finding yourself in the middle of your own motherfucking play. Covert agendas, criminals, or otherwise, including financial manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Not identifying with the underlying emotions, including experiencing commitment phobia and subsequent rationalization. These niggas who be trying to run plays, they don't, they don't. I gotta put this, man. They don't manipulate consciously, but they rather try to convince themselves of, the invalidity of their own emotions. You know what I'm saying? They keep trying to play this tough shit. They keep trying to play this, you know what I'm saying? To the point where they're not manipulating or fooling anybody else but themselves. That's how deep this shit can get. That's how niggas can run plays on themselves where they manipulate how they feel. And sometimes we all do that as far as our emotions, because that's human to a certain extent. Trying to, if we're feeling bad, we'll try to different ways, to make ourselves feel better. You know what I'm saying? That's another version of it. But it's in that, it's not in the same realm, but that's where it is. You know what I'm saying? So all this shit is around us. All this shit is around us. That's why I'm here bringing you certain information. So you can look out for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we want to mind our mental to be monumental. We want to mind your mental to be monumental. And part of that is recognizing that everybody's not your friend. Everybody not your partner. Like the late great Mo 3 said, everybody not your friend, everybody not your partner. You know what I'm saying? Some people are only around to dim your light. Some people are sent your way by the enemy to manipulate you, get you comfortable, walk you into a trap. That's why I say you gotta be careful about who you hang around, who you associate, who you associate yourself with. Hey, can you get this over? Yeah, appreciate it. Who you associate yourself with. And whatnot. You're gonna find yourself in a jam. In a jam or in some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? It be all type of shit that be going on, man, that makes no motherfucking sense. At least not to you, because you might be the nigga that's getting the plays ran on. You know what I'm saying? And lastly, some of these play runners, some of these manipulators, backstabbing sons of bitches, you know what I'm saying? They lack self-control over impulsive and antisocial behavior, leading to preemptive or reactionary manipulation to maintain their image. So think about our leaders, right? Like I said earlier, Fred Hampton. You can go watch that movie about Judas and the Black Messiah. His books about that too. About how Fred Hampton, he was wrongfully murdered in his home with this woman, his child, all because a bitch ass nigga named William O'Neill infiltrated and manipulated. Think about the Malcolm X story, how he lost his life. What was said then? They said somebody was, get your hand out of my pocket type shit, That's what they say. Meanwhile, while, the diversion is created. Everybody's looking one way. Before you know it, good brother Malcolm X gets assassinated in front of his friends and family. Because some niggas wasn't keeping it solid. Some niggas wasn't there. Everybody wasn't there. It's too many niggas. For the one or two of them Not to be no motherfucking snake or some shit like that, man. It's weird. It's odd. Don't know why, but that's just the way it is. And things never be the same. But to that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and close this shit out. It feels good to just record, no pressure. Not having to worry about no fucking comments and shit like that, man. It feels good to do that shit, man. I've been trying to go live and, trying to, do some other shit like that, man. And I really don't know if it's for me and I'm not getting the support over there like I am with, just recording and putting it out. So, although I'm not going to stop doing the shit, I'm also going to take a step back from it. You know what I'm saying? I'm also going to be in another podcast that's coming soon called Chopping It Up. You know what I'm saying? With my people. Emperor Speaks, Shan 214, and Double Up TV. Go check them out. Also on YouTube. That podcast coming soon also. So, a lot of good things in the works. We're going to keep building with the people that we trust. We'll try to, maintain and keep this grass cut. Just trying to make it, man. That's all. Just trying to make it, man. Trying to make something out of nothing, man. We're trying to leave a footprint on this shit. Trying to leave a fingerprint on this shit. We're here for a reason. Here for a purpose, man. Don't waste that shit. Trying to do no sick shit like running plays, man. Niggas out here doing nothing for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I bet they out here doing something for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Fuck these niggas. Shit. If you out there running plays and shit, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? If you out here trying to manipulate people, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you. Get out that shit. Get on some different shit. You know what I'm saying? And if you ever been a victim of being manipulated, which we all have, make sure you learn from that shit, man. Learn from it. It happen to everybody. Lick your wounds and keep stepping, man. Lick your wounds and keep stepping, man. This shit happen to everybody, man. But just be careful out there because people that are out there that are agents of destruction. They are simply here just to fuck up your whole move. You know what I'm saying? They simply here is to fuck, it's just to fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Your whole little stilo or whatever the fuck you got going. They ain't here to support you. That they may act like it. You know what I'm saying? They may act like it, but they ain't. They ain't. Be careful, especially if you have something like your name or a brand or a creation or a business or even just yourself at stake. Protect yourself at all costs. You have to. You just have to. There's too much bullshit being going on. A lot of hate shit been going on. And at some point, you gotta say, man, I'm sick of this shit. Take a step back. I don't like it. I don't know what's going on. I've been lied to way too many times. I've been coming for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Take some time out to realign your shit. Realign yourself. Get back focused. You know what I'm saying? Do things that are conducive to being a productive person. And keep going from there. That being said, stay true and heal. You don't step on the stigma. Much love to everybody out there. Rest in peace to everybody that lost somebody at the hands of manipulating, blood-sucking ass niggas. And shout out to the people that are still here. And we gotta deal with this shit. We gotta fight this shit together, man. Cause hoe ass niggas at an all-time high. Hoe ass niggas at an all-time high. And if you offended by what I'm saying, you might just be that hoe ass nigga I'm talking about. It's a Trill Pill podcast. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, monumental to be monumental. God bless. Marcus.